Do you ever have those days that you feel like you have no sizzle? And by sizzle, I mean that energy that makes you feel great. You feel motivated and you can get a lot of things done. Maybe you had sizzle and energy last week, but for some reason, it's gone this week. I know that happens to me. As a matter of fact, it happened to me early this week. Prior to that, I had tons of energy. I was getting a lot of things accomplished. I was making a list, doing all my tasks, and I had the energy to do it. Or maybe you've noticed that when your kids are laying around watching TV or they're on their devices and looking at a screen, that their energy level seems to go lower and lower and lower. So I was thinking about this and wondering, why was I not getting anything done? And I realized I didn't get any exercise in earlier this week just because I was busy. Well, lack of movement and lack of exercise can affect our mood, energy, and motivation. We lose our sizzle. So today I want to talk about exercise and what it can do for you beyond fitness. So we all know and we've all been told that exercise is good for us. Many people will exercise to stay fit or to try to lose weight. But what else can exercise do for you? One of the books that I use for a psychology class that I teach is probably one of my favorite psychology books, and I reference it a lot. You can find that reference on my website, but I'm also going to list it up here. There was a quote written in that book that I want to read to you about aerobic exercise because I think it is really key. So I'm going to read it to you so I get it right. Okay. So it says, "It's hard to find a medicine that works for most people most of the time. But aerobic exercise, sustained activity that increases heart and lung fitness, is one of these rare, near-perfect medicines." And medicines is in quotes. So I want to talk about aerobic exercise and the importance of it and what it can do for you. So aerobic exercise can include anything like walking, running, swimming, hiking, cross-country skiing, aerobic classes, dancing, spinning classes, and kickboxing. And research shows that people who participate in moderate levels of aerobic exercise each week, which would include 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week, they experience several positive effects that can relate to increasing the quantity and quality of your life and reducing heart disease, high blood pressure, and obesity. So we've been talking about in the last few videos what things can help with stress and mood. So I'm going to continue to talk about that today in relation to aerobic activity. So there have been lots of studies done that have found that by doing aerobic exercise, people are more able to handle stress, it decreases anxiety and depression, increases self-confidence, and increases energy. Now, I'm not going to be a person that tells you you should go out and run a marathon. Now, if you really want to do that, if it's in your nature and a desire that you want to do, that's awesome. You should go for it. But today, I just want to focus on aerobic activity of walking. If you don't like walking, then I would recommend trying to find another aerobic activity that you could do. Just make sure that it's truly aerobic, meaning it increases your heart rate and increases your breathing rate. So I want to talk about a few studies related to aerobic exercise. Most of these can be found in that Myers and DeWall book that I referenced earlier. So in the first study, they looked at 650,000 people who walked 150 minutes per week. So basically, if you think about that, that's walking 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. And they predicted that the people who walked 150 minutes compared to inactive people, they would live 7 years longer. In another study, they found that if there were people who were active that became inactive, their chance of depression increased 51%. That's pretty significant. In a third study, they compared 3 groups of mildly depressed people. One group received a treatment of exercise, the second group received a treatment of relaxation, and the third group did not receive a treatment at all. They were the control group. So the results showed that the people who were in the exercise group reduced their depression the most. The people in the relaxation group reduced their depression the second highest. And the people in the control group that did not get a treatment did not reduce their depression at all. I'm going to put a slide in here so you can take a look at the graph that shows the levels of decreasing their depression. So there is also an organization called the Anxiety and Depression Organization of America, and they reported that people who do aerobic exercise can actually decrease the chance of developing anxiety or depression by 25%. Okay, so I want to talk about one more study because this study compared aerobic exercise and antidepressant medication and a placebo pill. Now, please don't take this as a statement that you can do aerobic exercise and stop taking your antidepressant medication. That is a decision that needs to be made between a patient and a physician. Never take any information off the internet, of Facebook or YouTube that would lead you to make a decision on your own to get off of a medication. Okay, but there is good news about this study. So it showed that aerobic exercise actually decreased the amount of depression at the same or similar levels as the antidepressant medication that was in the study. This is awesome news because adding aerobic activity into your day is such a simple process. Well, most of the time. Sometimes it's hard to get ourselves to go exercise. But if we can add aerobic exercise into our day, we can boost our mood. Now, we all don't have anxiety or depression, but we all do have serotonin. So we can exercise and increase that serotonin level to help boost our mood. So what does aerobic exercise do for us physically? You just heard me mention serotonin. So what is that? So serotonin is the neurotransmitter in the brain that affects mood, arousal, sleep, and hunger. Now, like I mentioned, we all don't have anxiety or depression, but if we can boost our serotonin levels, it just helps us feel that much better. Gives us the energy to do things that we want to get done. Helps us feel more motivated. So something that can be tricky about this is that there's kind of like a circular effect. So let's say right down here we have people who don't exercise. And people who don't exercise have a higher level of stress, anxiety, and depression. Well, people who have higher levels of stress, anxiety, and depression are less likely to make the choice to go out and do some aerobic exercise. So this can put us in a tough situation. So let's talk about 4 things that you can do to bring more aerobic exercise into your day. So the first thing you want to do is figure out the best time of day for you to exercise. It could be morning, afternoon, or night. For me, it's actually in the morning, and I'm not a morning person. I don't want to get up in the morning. When I first wake up, I'm kind of grumpy. But if I can get myself on that treadmill in the morning, I have much more energy during the day. I have a better mindset. I'm more positive, and I'm more productive. If I put off exercising until later in the day, I might just not get it done because I get too busy and then I kind of blow it off. A second thing you can do is to put it on your calendar and stick to that schedule. When you do that, when you write your goal down, you're more likely to complete your goal and stick to your goal than if it's just kind of swimming around in your head. And then when you finish the goal, when you exercise that day, check it off your calendar. It feels good to check off stuff from our to-do list. Also, you can look back at your calendar and see how many successful days you've had at getting your exercise in. A third thing you can do is get yourself an accountability partner. someone that you can check in with or talk with about your progress, someone to help keep you on track or keep you motivated. Maybe there's someone in your neighborhood that you could walk with. It's good to get outside and soak in some of that sunshine in the morning to help with melatonin, which we talked about in a different video. Another way to go about this is if the weather's bad or you have allergies or you just like to exercise inside, is to walk on your treadmill or go to the mall. I tend to walk on the treadmill, especially during the cold months, and it gives me a chance to catch up on Netflix or listen to music while I'm walking. You can even read a book while you're walking on the treadmill. Kind of helps pass the time, and if you're not really enjoying exercise, you can do other things to make it even more enjoyable. Okay, so let's sum things up. In today's video, we talked about losing our sizzle or our energy and bringing it back through aerobic activity. We can do this by walking even just 3 times a week for 30 minutes. Lots of studies show that by doing aerobic exercise, it can improve depression, your energy level, and your ability to handle stress and anxiety. So I know for me that earlier this week, I lacked energy and motivation because I didn't exercise. I hope that you can find a way to figure out the best time of day to bring some aerobic exercise into your day, put it on your calendar, and maybe find an accountability partner to help you keep moving forward. Kids typically have a lot more energy than we do, but if you notice your kid's energy is lacking, ask yourself, is it because of lack of movement? If they've been kind of laying around for a while watching TV or on their device, you might want to get them up and moving and get their energy boosted just by getting some physical activity. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like or share, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you in the next video.